17th century German mathematician and philosopher Gottfried Leibniz once said that music is the pleasure that the human soul experiences from counting, without being aware that it is counting. Good morning, namaskar, salam alaikum. This is your host Shireen Saif, welcoming you to another brand new episode of Malhaar Morning Raga, where we discuss music and much, much more.
This program is brought to you by Abevia. Add goodness to life.
थकन मिटाते वो अनमोल मुस्कुराहट, प्यार बढ़ाते छोटी सी शरारत, संभाले जब ममता हर वो रुकावट, आते हैं अपने यहाँ जब हो कोई दावत। आओ थोड़ी सी अच्छाई लाएं अब जिंदगी में। Abevia evaporated milk का unique low cholesterol formula loaded with protein, vitamin A, D and calcium आपको देते हैं एक creamy, tasty और healthy एहसास। Abevia, add goodness to life.
It is lovely to see you again on this bright Saturday, joining us to listen to music, and like we promised, there will be some other things that you can take away from this program. And joining me on this conversation and journey is my favorite co-host, the founder and director of Malhaar, Jogiraj Sikidar.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ji.
How are you doing?
Excellent. How are you feeling?
All good.
Isn't
All
this
good.
atmosphere absolutely beautiful?
Yes, I'm loving it.
Yes, and so are our local artists.
I'm sure.
Let's see who we have in our lineup. Mallika Kilpady ji on Hindustani vocal, Arindam Chakravarty ji on Tabla, and Manjeet Singh ji on Harmonium. And as ever, we have a special episode where we'll meet an artist or scholar or someone who's a music lover. Today we have a special person who's a non-musician but a great music lover. He is an American-Indian economist and Nobel Laureate, Professor Abhijit Banerjee from MIT Boston. But before we go to Boston, let's warm up with a presentation from our local artists. Mallika ji, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show with your very powerful voice and big gestures. What have you got in our presentation for today? What will you share with us?
Good morning. I'll be presenting Rag Deshkar. This Rag is sung in the morning between 9 and 12. It belongs to the Thaat Bilaval. It's very similar to Rag Bhupali, but Bhupali belongs to Thaat Kalyan. This Rag Deshkar is an Uttarang Pradhan Rag. So, sa dha dha ga pa. So you are usually singing, or your badhat is done only in the upper scale. It's an Odav Rag, which is a pentatonic rag. Sa ga pa dha sa da pa dha ga pa dha pa ga sa. Re is used minimalistically. Ab laari bata ma se bo. से बोलो जी बाता माँ से बोलो।
गो
Wow.
Wow, Mallika ji, thank you so much for that very nuanced delivery of Rag Deshkar. And it's a morning raga, but I know that it's very close to the nighttime raga Bhupali, right?
Yes, yes.
So sometimes if you're not careful, you can slip into Bhupali, right?
Yes.
Have you had that experience?
Of course. Of course. So I have a question for you this morning. It is music education, importance of music education in the formative years.
I think it's fundamental in the sense that just as you learn A, B, C, D, you learn Sa, Re, Ga, Ma. So as you grow up, many things happen, no? Because this whole, as your brain is developing, your brain is making all of those neural connections.
Right.
And scientifically it is proven that it is important for our cognitive and emotional development. So I think it's absolutely essential, and I think everyone should learn music.
Absolutely. One thing I would, I have read somewhere, and of course I have observed after that also. When a child is born and starts, responding, they respond to the music.
That's right.
When they crawl, they respond.
Even in the mother's womb,
Yeah,
they're responding to music and rhythm, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is within us, but I've, in previous years when I was growing up, the parents would say, oh, okay, no, this child is not good at, doesn't understand music. What do you think about children like that? Should they learn music?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Must be tough for the teacher,
Yes.
but the child has so much more to gain.
Yes, because music, as I always say, music is not just singing some songs.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
much more than that.
There's much more than that.
Much more than that.
Totally. So this means that we segue to Boston.
Yes.
But is he in Boston today as we speak to him?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go meet him in Boston then.
Yes, please. So in this season of Morning Raga, we thought to connect with not just the artist, but some passionate music lovers and scholars from across the world. Today I am honored that we are joined by Nobel Laureate Professor Abhijit Banerjee from MIT, Boston. Thank you so much, Professor Banerjee, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Indian classical music always been perceived as something for affluent classes. Your thoughts in this, please?
So I think the roots of the music are not at all elite. I mean, I think that is in some ways the roots in, for example, in various forms of kirtan, the Gurbani kirtan, in the Qawwali, in Sufyana kalams, these are all very much from grassroots music roots. If you use Bhatiali, for example, to take a Bengali inspired raga. I mean, Bhatialis are the kind of almost the elemental music of rural Bengal. So it's not that the elements are, and then of course there was traditionally a sort of a system of patronage where affluent people paid for these musicians and the musicians' lives, and I think that has created this, I think, this sense that this is elite, somehow elite music. But in some sense, what is nice about this precisely that if you think of the bhajans of Eknath or Kabir, I mean, these are all very much very much from the popular social movements. There's enormous amount of play that comes out of the very much the sort of the underlying broad traditions of India, and so I think that it would be, in a sense, we are. I think it's also the case that when a lot of musicians sing, for example, I think for them the awareness of the broad cultural roots is actually quite deep. And when I listen to some of them discussing their music, it's not a technical discussion. It's often a discussion of the why it's emotionally central to their lives, and some very syncretistic religiosity that is is often sort of underlying that. But I don't think of it as being particularly elite in its in any of its structures. Then I think, unfortunately, a lot of those things become scarce because we don't, in a sense, we don't create cultural institutions that are broadly accessible. I mean, I think it's, now it's, in a sense, it's easier. You can listen to, YouTube has become an extraordinary resource, and I also mostly listen to music on YouTube. It used to be, when I was growing up, it was really like collectors were so kind of picky with who they would share with and what they would share with, and there was a real culture of exclusion. Okay? I have this particular piece. Have you heard it? I will let you hear it. But I think that's changed. I think the YouTube culture, in that sense, has been liberating. I think the what maybe we also need is more sort of the more mediation, more creating music festivals which where there's no ticket. After all, you could much of the great music I listen to comes from YouTube, not from anybody singing. It's free. Somebody could play it. I do think that we are not doing enough to build access at the ground level. But I think that's not because it's now. I think it's easy to build greater access, to invite broader audiences to come and listen. I don't think there are many examples of. I mean, there are a few. I've been to a few, but not many are the examples of free, open music events. I think that's something one could aspire to.
So, Professor Banerjee, you are half Maharashtrian and half Bengali. What kind of music you grew up at home in your growing up years?
I mean, I was exposed to classical music. It was, I mean, this is in a sense what I was saying. It was very much, there was I mean, the public resources were already available. It was just that we didn't have. In my house, every morning, my All India Radio. There was the morning, I think 7:30. Half an hour. Typically, some kind of morning rag. Somebody would be singing, and even very famous people. Bhimsen Joshi would occasionally be singing this All India Radio morning program, and then All India Radio evening program. Again, we would listen on the radio. I mean, that was sort of how I grew up. And then there were, my father had a collection of school tapes, and we would, I mean, and of the musicians he liked, so he would play those. So I think I was immersed in the music, and I think that's the, I have no particular talent for it, but I think it just was almost the environment of how I grew up. I think that's what brings it to you, is people who are really passionate, who try to bring their passion to you. And I think my parents were very passionate about classical music. And then for the rest, growing up in Kolkata, half the year somebody's playing some either Bangla or Hindi song on a loudspeaker somewhere. And so if you like music, you pick up huge amounts of music, even if you don't want to.
I read in an interview where your mother said that you are also a good cook. So do you think there is a correlation between cooking and music?
I don't know that. My father was passionate about music. He'd never cooked anything except making toast and eggs sometimes. So I don't think there is any particular reason to think that. But yeah, I mean, the musicians often are themselves good cooks, or they love food. I mean, this whole culture of, we have concert till 11. Then we cook. Then we eat. I'm not sure it's good for the health, but it's very much there. I used, at least when I remember it, it was very much there. That after we have a drink and we have dinner at 12:30 or something. That was very much the culture of a lot of musicians.
So who are your favorite artists?
There are many. I'll name two classical musicians. I think if I had to pick the two, I would pick Amir Khan as among the contemporaries. I think Rashid Khan. I think I just find him extraordinarily musical.
Thank you so much, Professor Banerjee, for connecting with us. We are truly grateful to you, and it's indeed wonderful to know your other interest and your passion for music. Over to you, Shirin.
Dada, what impressed me among all the many things that he spoke about is about how he grew up in a culture where they were going for concerts, they were going to art galleries. My question to you is, how can we cultivate that kind of an environment in Dubai where people don't go see anything or listen to something?
Yes, I think first and foremost, two levels. One is at the organizational level. Event organizers who are organizing this, they perhaps can reach out to schools, and encourage the school, principal or whoever, to send their children to the concert on a regular basis. Not just concert, even for the visit art galleries on. Okay, this is one. Secondly, it needs to be affordable, or if you can make it free.
Yeah, especially for students.
And even probably if like corporate house, they can come forward. Like in India, one of the big step is Speak Make, which has done a massive work.
Yeah.
So probably something like that, and at the artist level, artists also need to make them accessible. I do understand you need to earn your livelihood. I do understand, you have something, you need, remuneration, proper remuneration, this thing. But when it comes to such thing, probably some kind of flexibility is required at this level. And especially most important is to nurture the local talent. Unfortunately, in Dubai, I have noticed if it's a celebrity, then it's fine. But there's so many amazing artists out there who might not be a celebrity.
That's right.
So invite them to the school, invite them to probably in your social clubs and all, and ask them to do lecture demonstrations, some performances.
Yeah.
And that's how the culture will start.
Yeah, I think you have a great point there, to bring the Speak Make Model and have the artists go and visit schools and show them to children, etc. I believe there is a Speak Make UAE, but
they have, but it's not that active, because again it's to bring celebrity artists, it's a quite expensive, and it's you need a lot of resources for that. But how about so amazing artists?
Maybe
we need go to a school and talk about Mohiniyattam. I attended one of your workshop, and it was such enlightening for me.
Thank you. Yeah.
So something like
but
this.
Perhaps we need to make a directory of who these artists are, and so each artist, we're all connected with each other. Maybe that is something that we need to think about. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So since we're with this particular note, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll go to Mallika ji once again and see what she has to
and
present
maybe
for us.
she can go to schools later. We can take her.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Mallika ji, I hope you've taken this suggestion of ours quite seriously, and we'll do something about it for sure. But for now, can you please present your last gift for the day for us?
Tuma Paravari Krishna Murari, 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 Tuma Paravari
amazing. Mallika ji, I thoroughly enjoy your performances, and we'll see more and more of you again, and hopefully we'll also take you to schools. So on that note, viewers, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for being part of these conversations, listening to us and writing into us with your feedback. So please keep that coming. Please like, share and subscribe and stay connected. Till next time, namaskar.
थकन मिटाते वो अनमोल मुस्कुराहट, प्यार बढ़ाते छोटी सी शरारत, संभाले जब ममता हर वो रुकावट, आते हैं अपने यहाँ जब हो कोई दावत।
आओ थोड़ी सी अच्छाई लाएं अब जिंदगी में। Abevia evaporated milk का unique low cholesterol formula loaded with protein, vitamin A, D and calcium आपको देते हैं एक creamy, tasty और healthy एहसास। Abevia, add goodness to life.
This program was brought to you by Abevia, add goodness to life.